All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Terry Jackley, and I'm the Academies and Transformation Coordinator here with the Academies of Racine. And today is day 2 of See Your Future Expo, where we take a look at career awareness and opportunities that exist, especially within our own community. So today I have 5 members with us from multiple different places. So the first thing that I'm going to ask them to do is to introduce themselves, identify the organization that they are employed with, and also what their current position title is. So Ray, we'll begin with you.
Good morning. My name is Ray Kokari. I'm the Dean for the School of Manufacturing, Engineering, and IT here at Gateway Technical College, right at Sturtevant, Wisconsin.
Andy?
Hi, my name is Andy Steenrod. I am a production manager at SC Johnson at their Waxdale manufacturing facility here in Racine.
Eugene?
Hi, my name is Eugene Perkins. I am employed here at SC Johnson as a production one manufacturer.
Alex?
Hi, my name is Alex Vertigo. I'm a recruiting consultant with Goodwill Talent Bridge here in Racine, Wisconsin.
And Lenny?
Hi, Chad Lenny Leonard. I am the plant manager at Mauser Packaging in Sturtevant, Wisconsin.
Thank you very much. And today is day 2 of See Your Future. So the career clusters that we are discovering and exploring are related to manufacturing, engineering, and other tech services that exist. So I have 4 questions for you, gentlemen. So we'll go around and I'll ask the question, and each one of you can take a turn responding. And we want to hear your story. And we want to share that with our students today. So again, we thank you for being here and sharing with us. So Ray, our first question is, what skills and education do you need to do your career as of today?
My career as a dean requires at least a master's and sometimes a PhD, so a lot of education. But my career in manufacturing did not require that. It required just some technical college education. So there's 2 different paths that I have, and we'll talk about that later, right?
That is correct. Andy?
Yeah, so my background, I have a bachelor's degree. My degree is in computer science, which I really haven't done anything with, but my job really requires being able to work with people. I interact with people on a daily basis and find solutions to problems.
Wonderful. Eugene?
All right. So the things needed for me is a high school diploma, and I also have a technical diploma in bricklaying.
Interesting. Alex?
For my position, necessarily they don't have much requirements, maybe a high school. I know some companies do require a bachelor's, but more of just having a good demeanor and being able to talk with people.
Very, very important skill, communication.
Right.
And Lenny?
Yeah, so for plant manager role, typically you see an associate's degree or better. I have a bachelor's in chemistry, which, like Andy, I haven't really done much with it. Really what it comes down to be in this role is you need to be able to talk to humans and help facilitate problem solving.
So those 21st century skills are popping up already, right? Talking about communication. Many of you, I'm sure, work in teams, right? Collaboration is probably
Absolutely.
so very important to you. And then critical thinking, right? And along with that critical thinking, how many of you use creativity every single day within your roles?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Can anybody give an example of the innovation and creativity that they use within their role?
So, as I said before, is, problem solving. I have probably answers to very few problems, but that's, my role is looking towards the experts we have across the folks who are running our equipment every day. We have engineers on site, the folks who are designing our products, and getting them together to come up with creative solutions to problems. Whether it's how do we guard a machine correctly so that somebody can't get hurt, or a more efficient way so that we're not creating scrap or other bad products. Taking less time, making somebody's job easier. Perhaps it's looking for a new tool so that when we change a machine from one from one configuration to the next, I can save 20 minutes, right? It's less work for somebody to have to do. I can ensure that it gets running faster and it's running the right way from the very beginning versus making additional bad products or any bad products. So that's kind of where I step in. Again, I don't have answers to a lot of problems. It's more trying to bring and facilitate the people who have all these expertise.
Yeah, I'd echo that from my role as well. It's really getting out there, getting the people doing the job and let them come up with the creative solutions to their problems and make their lives easier.
Any other final thoughts around those skills? All right, let's take a look at the next question. So this question, I want you to think back to being in high school. And especially we're talking with our freshmen here today. So think about being a freshman in high school, brand new ninth grader. What was your career path from thinking about what you were exploring as a freshman in high school? And what path did you take to get to your current position today?
I can go first if you'd like.
Yes, please.
So ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, I was thinking chemical engineering, a great field. And it was just something that I was excited about. I took it in high school. Senior year, I hit organic chemistry and realized chemistry was not for me. It was just a difficult course, and I realized I wasn't going to go down that path. So I joined the military. I did 6 years in the military to give me time to actually do that thinking of what I want to do afterwards. While I was in, I met, I did a lot of things that were different, but the one thing I did was go to college at night. And it was interesting because the very first college I went to was English comp. And I had a fun instructor that knew that I was very weak in this. And she had us write a paper on the very first day and hand it in. And I got a big F and it was circled and it said, "See me after class." And it was one of those times when you actually realize you really need to buckle down and do the right things. So she mentored me for the entire semester, an extra hour before classes started to bring my skills up so that I could pass English Comp 1. And that's what got me excited about education. And it also made me understand that people can change people's lives as long as they get involved. So that's really how I began. And then I went into, from there, I went into the IT field because the Marines had trained me in that, and started my own business, had a successful business for 10 years, and then worked with other manufacturers around, Arctic Cat, Mansfield Plumbing, to name a couple that I was the CIO at. And then I decided that education was for me. I really wanted to give back. My kids had both went into college, and I said, it's time. So I actually went and finished my master's degree and then applied at a few universities and colleges, worked for the University of Phoenix for a while, and then got a job here at Gateway. So that's how my career went.
And how long have you been at Gateway, Ray?
18 years.
It's an incredible story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Andy.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I had a couple jobs just because I had to have one. So I was a lifeguard, I mowed lawns, I worked at a car wash. I did go to college after that. Again, my degree is in computer science, but I think I landed there because it was computers, technology was an interest of mine, and I wasn't quite sure what else I wanted to do. So I followed that path, and then towards the end of school, I had an internship at a manufacturing company up in Waukesha, Wisconsin, which really turned me towards manufacturing away from information and data and computers. And what really drew me to manufacturing is that we're making things that you can touch, and it's very tangible, right? You can see it coming off production line. You can see the process going. You're constantly improving, or you're adding something to it. And I really like the fact that I could touch it, work on it with that. So after my internship, I ended up getting a full-time job there. And I did production planning. So it's looking at how materials are flowing into a work cell, and are we building things in the right order for our customers, making sure that our employees have the right parts at the right time. I dabbled in warehousing, and then eventually got into supervision of people. So looking at it like an assembly department and making sure that I had folks working for me, that they had what they needed and we were working on the right stuff. And that took me into management, like now here at SC Johnson, where I oversee multiple production lines across all shifts. So days and nights. And my job is to coordinate those efforts across these 3 or 4 shifts on many production lines to keep a strategic vision moving in the right direction. So that's kind of how I moved. But the entire time, once I found, manufacturing something tangible, that's what I love, is be able to touch and see, everything that we make.
Another interesting story, right? All the different places, all the different doors that open up once you are somewhere, and you just never know where it's going to take you. Just
yeah, I would add. So my internship became across because I knew somebody, right? So it's kind of like it's probably that buzzword of their networking. You know somebody, and you do the right things. They ask you, don't say no. Follow an opportunity and see where it lands, right? And it can take you to a lot of places.
Yes, and that's one of the things too that our freshmen are learning about the academies overseen, is that as juniors and seniors, they have the opportunity for a youth apprenticeship with many of our local community partners. Some of you here sitting with us today host some of our youth apprenticeships and internships and co-ops. Because again, what a great experience to learn what you do or what you don't like. Eugene.
Yeah, so
What's your story? How'd you get to where you are?
yeah, so in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to be, and that's okay. I think later on down the line, I just realized that I wanted to be with a team and being comfortable with the team and working well with the team. I was playing sports in high school and I got along with people and had good communication. So I wanted to be with the team. And after high school, I went right to college, and college is pushed upon kids right away. And you don't know what you're going to get into unless you're exposed to it or you see different things. So I stayed at UW-Milwaukee for 3-4 years and still didn't know like what I wanted to go into. So I went into the trades and I found that out in college, which is a little bit late. But when I got into the trades, I figured out that was what I like to do. But COVID hit and things happened, and I landed in manufacturing because of people who I knew who were working already. And that's where I'm at today.
Another very interesting story, and again, such an important message to send to our youth, right? That it's okay, right? It's okay if you don't know what you want to do. And you take that time and you take those opportunities to explore and to learn what you find appealing. And obviously you found appealing the teamwork and what that goes with. So to be able to learn that through sports, right? And athletics. And again, the power of taking the benefits of all of the different types of organizations and clubs and athletics that students can get involved with, because it does teach you things about yourself and things that you like. So thank you for sharing, Eugene. Alex, what about you?
So for me, I didn't really know what I wanted to do throughout all of high school and a little bit after high school. There was a position with Amazon that I had taken shortly after. Well, I did have a position while working in high school with Wendy's, but I moved to Amazon and they had me in the packing position. I knew I didn't want to stay in manufacturing, forever. I was there for maybe about a year or two. I got into more of like a training role as like an ambassador. As the new starts come in, I'm the person that kind of shows them the ropes, gets them started, the start to finish on their first day, first week, whatever it may be. Started to really enjoy the coaching aspect, or, speaking one-on-one with somebody. And I had put my resume up on Indeed and gotten a call from Goodwill. They had offered me a position to do more of like on-site work. So someone that does the head count, if you need me, I'm there for whatever needs you may have, knowing that the position could be something very temporary. So I took the position. I was there for maybe about a month or two. But anything to kind of echo what Andy said is, never say no. It may open other opportunities or open any door. So, I mean, switching shifts from first to third, helping out where I could, I didn't say no. So once that did disappear, because the company wasn't long-term, they decided to bring me into the office to kind of give me a recruiter role. So my supervisor took me in, kind of mentored me, and I've been with the company as a recruiter since. And I've been with the company for about 5 years, going on 6 now.
And again, right, twice now we've heard the importance of mentoring, right? Somebody took you under their wing.
Exactly. I didn't
yeah.
have any experience. From what I remember, there's a bachelor requirement for the position. But I didn't go to college. I wasn't sure on what I wanted to do. She took me under her wing. She trained me, and here I am.
And here you are. And that's a lot of things that we do hear from many of our community partners. It's about the will, right? And the will of wanting to learn, and to take that risk, and then to stick with it and to trust, right? To build that confidence within yourself, and to trust where things are going to lead you. So another great story. Lenny, what about you?
Yeah, high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I grew up. I'm still confident that I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I came through, I had relocated in high school, worked several jobs at grocery stores, etc. Right? Went to college, didn't know what I wanted to be. I ended up with my first degree, and it's called a Bachelor of Liberal Studies. That's what they do when they throw you out after 160 credits and say you can't focus on anything. So from there, I ended up following a girl to Milwaukee, married her, kids, etc. Landed at a company called Carry Ingredients here in Sturtevant. If you're out by the movie theater, it's this place that smells like seasonings. I started there as a QA tech, went to third shift production supervisor as a launch of that, the third shift there. After a few years, I said, you know what, I think I really want to go back to college. And I went back as an adult to Parkside, which is a fantastic school, and got my chemistry degree. While I was there, I got a call back from Carrie saying, hey, I need a second shift supervisor pretty bad. Can you come help turn this thing around while you're still in school? I went and did that. After doing that for a few years, I ended up in Evansville, Indiana with Carrie doing a quality supervisor position. And at that point, I ran into a friend of mine, Bob, who really mentored me in continuous improvement, Lean Six Sigma, that type of methodology. And I came back to the Sturtevant area as a continuous improvement manager, where I did that for a few years and ended up my career with Carrie as a director of continuous improvement, overseeing 13 sites. And that is all about teamwork and trying to work problems and coaching and mentoring other people in different sites. I was traveling 85% of my time at that point, and I ended up at a company in Pleasant Prairie building electrical motors as their lean manager. Did a turnaround project for them and was the plant manager there for a little over a year. And then I ended up here at Mauser about in June as the plant manager, and we're forming our team and building up skill sets here. So that's really been my path.
I think it's just amazing. I mean, we all take our own path and our own journey, right? And it ebbs and flows in all different ways. And as a freshman in high school, would you ever expect to be where you are today?
Oh, absolutely not.
Would you have ever dreamed it, thought about it? And just such a great message to send to our youth. Again, to take the opportunity to explore, right? Take the opportunity to learn. And I hear all of you talk about being flexible, right? And be willing to say yes to certain things that maybe you thought you wouldn't or shouldn't say yes to. But you never know where that opportunity is going to take you. And of course, education, right? Whether it's a formal education in terms of going back to school, many of you talked about going on to further your degrees, or also just whether it is taking a class to learn a new skill, or being part of a webinar series that's 2 hours for 1 week, right? All different ways for us to continue to learn and to sharpen those skills and to learn who we are as we all continue to grow. So I think my next thing then is, what's the passion? What's the love that puts you to where you are today? What do you love about your job?
I think for me, it's the challenges. And there's many challenges with scheduling, with students, with faculty. Those excite me. They create a passion to solve problems, be creative, like we talked before. Those are things that drive me.
Andy?
I think it's two things, as I had mentioned before, is the tangible with manufacturing, be able to touch and see what we make versus maybe like a service, if I'm auditing something, right? I love being able to touch and see it, but also, every day, good days and bad days, but days where you have a wins, you have a success, we make an improvement and people see the benefit of it. Somebody in your team or your line has a good day and they can celebrate that. That's a pretty cool thing as well. So getting to be able to work with people and help them succeed, win, get better, whatever that happens.
Eugene?
Yeah, to touch off what he said, just helping people anywhere, wherever they need help, just coming to work, earning a money, living,
Alex?
It's a part of Goodwill, the Goodwill mission. So they're all about helping people. All of the divisions kind of come together to help each other. We source for, internal divisions as well. So like retail, helping people with wages, with positions, to kind of move forward with their journey. And the company, they treat me like a family. They believed in me. They brought me in with no experience, and I'm grateful for it.
And now you pay it forward, right?
Right,
I think that's
exactly.
just such a great piece of the message. Lenny?
Yeah, I would like to echo a lot of what Andy said there. It's really working with the team and being able to explore that creativity and being able to touch and feel what you make and know that you're impacting everyone else and making somebody's life easier as a part of it. So
This is a people powerhouse right here with the five of you. You're all saying the same thing. You love working with other people. You love helping other people. I feel that if anything goes wrong in the next week of my life, I'm calling all of you.
Yeah.
Because I feel you can lead me out of it and help me with it. What an awesome thing. Just being down to the human level, right? The human level of what your roles are, even though you're some of you are producing an actual product, some of you are not. But the human connection that is needed within all of our roles to bring success. What a wonderful thing. So my last question is, in your infinite wisdom, where you are today in terms of your career, if you could, what advice would you offer your teenage self back as a freshman in high school? What advice would you give yourself that in essence now you are giving our freshmen?
One of the things I remember is controlling the fear of the unknown, and finding ways to, as everybody said, explore the choices and opportunities. There are a tremendous amount of wealth out there in the way of scholarships, in the way of free things that you get. And even if no one in your family did it before, try it. That's, I guess, what I can give.
Andy?
I think it would probably, mistakes. Making a mistake is okay. You need to own it. Don't try to hide it or make people think that you're a perfect person. Making a mistake is okay. You need to learn from it as well, right? So do you repeat it over and over again? You forget to set your alarm, you miss one day of work. You're probably not going to lose your job, but if you do it over and over again, did you learn anything from that issue or from that error? You forget to do something on audit or whatever. It's one mistake is not going to sink a ship, but you'll get judged or looked at if you keep making the same mistake over and over. So mistakes are okay. That's how we can learn, and we probably learn faster that way sometimes. But don't be afraid to ask for help.
Trial and error, it's a good thing. Eugene?
I would say to have confidence in yourself and to trust yourself. Whatever decision you make, just trust yourself. Always ask for help and listen. Always have your ears open. You never know what you'll miss it might be some information that'll take you a long way in life.
Excellent advice. Alex?
I would say maybe listen to your gut and do what you're passionate about rather than, what someone else or what you think is right.
Very, very wise advice. Lenny?
Yeah, again, Andy's hitting it kind of spot on there. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And really make good decisions, make the best decision you can in the moment, but don't be afraid to say yes to new experiences either, right? So there's all sorts of coursework. You haven't been exposed to too much as a freshman at this point. So through the schools, what I know of the Racine schools anyway, there's a lot of opportunities to get exposed to different technologies, different types of coursework. So maybe take a class that you have some interest in, but doesn't really fit your core curriculum at this point, just for the exposure.
The challenge, right? The challenge of yourself.
Exactly.
Well, and I always think, the more open you are to trying new experiences, kind of the less scary it becomes. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's easier to say yes every time. Generally, people are, if somebody asks you, hey, do you want to try this? Or I have a job for you. They're not asking because they think you're going to fail, right? You may not see it in yourself. You might think you're underskilled, under whatever, but they see potential in you, and they're probably going to make sure that they're going to help you succeed along the way, right? They're not looking to set you up to fail. So even though it might be a big step for you mentally, like, oh, I can't do that, somebody sees it in you. So just believe in their word as well.
I think that pairs along nicely with what Eugene said, right? Having trust and confidence in yourself, right? And I like what you're saying, Andy, in terms of somebody sees it in you, right? You may not recognize it in yourself, but somebody sees it, right? And then we talked about that mentorship, right? How important that mentorship is. And I think no matter what age we are, you can always have mentors, right? And a mentor, as I'm finding, right, as I'm aging, as I'm sure some of you are, it doesn't matter what the age of the mentor is, right? There's so much to learn from the youth that are coming in. And I think that's one of the things that I always liked as being an educator, right? Was youth brings so much energy along with it. And then how can we then harness that, right? And do these great things with it. So I thank all of you today for joining us on this panel. And I hope that you've given our freshmen some wonderful things to start thinking about, some very personal things that they can start to think about in terms of where they would like their high school career to maybe go. Many of you talked about the exploration, the opportunities. We talked about internships. Obviously, they're going to get out on coordinated site visits into some of your companies to see what goes on behind those doors and those walls, and believing in yourself, right? And knowing that we all help to take good care of each other. And that's what builds success in life, no matter what your career is and no matter how you get there. So thank you all for sharing. We appreciate it, and continued success to you all, and good luck to you.
Great. Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.